So, order of operations. Who can tell me what order of operations are? There's a saying that you learned in elementary school about order of operations. PEMDAS, right? What do they stand for? Parentheses. Then what? Exponents. PEM, P, E. P is parentheses. E is exponents. Multiplication and division. And what you should hopefully know is that multiplication and division, because they're inverses, they're opposites of each other, I can flip-flop them. It doesn't have to be PEM. It could be PED. You could divide before you multiply. And then the last two letters are addition and subtraction. But you could subtract before you add. Right? So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Does that sound familiar also? But no matter what, whether you have PEMDAS or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, what do you always start with? Parentheses. You should always do the parentheses first. That's the rule. You should always, if there are parentheses in your problem, those parentheses have to, by laws of math, have to go first. But here's my question, what if you can't? What if you can't do your parentheses first? I mean, we have to get rid of them. Look down here. Here are some problems with parentheses in them. But I cannot do x plus 3 because I don't know what x is. There's no value for x. It's just a variable. I can't do x plus 3. We don't put variables into our calculators. I cannot do x plus 3. We need to get rid of the parentheses. Since I can't do my parentheses, I have to get rid of them. Here are my steps. Circle the number outside the parentheses. Circle the number outside the parentheses. Step number 1. Circle the number outside the parentheses. Step 2. Draw arrows to each number inside. You're going to circle the number on the outside, and you're going to draw arrows inside. If I was going to tell you the icing on a cake was evenly distributed, what does that mean?
It's the same amount of icing all around.
Yeah, it's spread around, right? I'm taking the number on the outside and I'm spreading that outside number to the inside numbers. And when things touch, like right down here, when that 4 touches the parentheses, that's my outside number, right? And here's my 8, it's my outside number. And -3 is my outside number. And -4 is my outside number. Ooh, this time, y is my outside number. And here 5 is my outside number. I'm going to take that number outside and I'm going to spread it inside. I'm going to distribute it. I'm going to share it with everything. And when things touch, what does that mean in algebra? What operation does it mean when they touch? multiply. We're going to multiply. Ooh, this marker is dying. We're going to multiply the outside number to all inside numbers. We're going to take that outside number, and I'm going to draw arrows inside because that's my visual reminder. And because that outside number is touching, that means multiply. So I'm going to multiply the outside number to all inside numbers. We need to remember the plus and minus signs go with the numbers. Do you know that this means with? A W and a slash?
Yeah.
The plus and the minus, those signs, positive and negative signs, go with the numbers, just like when we combined like terms. That minus sign sticks with that number behind it. A plus sign sticks with that number behind it. Don't just be like, meh, good enough. Don't forget that variables, what are variables? What's a variable? The letters. Variables travel with the number. Don't forget, if you've got a variable, it's going to go along for the ride. Variables travel with the number. And last but not least, sometimes, and you guys are pretty good at this, we've already done this a couple times, sometimes you have to add a plus to a number, right? We don't go around saying, oh, this number is positive 3. We just call it 3. But sometimes you have to add in that plus sign if there's not a plus sign, if something's missing. And then we're going to start practicing. Now, I have 3 steps right up here, correct? Circle the number outside the parentheses. Draw the arrows to each number inside the parentheses. And then we multiply. Does everybody have their calculator out? I don't want you to miss a problem because you multiplied incorrectly. This is Molly. Yep. All right, here we go. In the first practice problem, what gets circled? 4. Everybody circle it. Because it's outside. And I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to draw an arrow to the X. And I'm going to draw an arrow to the plus 3. Because that plus belongs with the 3. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, these are my notes. So we write down everything. Got it? We're going to multiply. So I'm going to write down 4 times X. Yes? And I'm also going to write down 4, maybe I could put it in parentheses, times positive 3. I'm writing down all of my steps because when we take notes, it is important that you can look back and see what they mean. What is 4 times x? Do you know? No, 4x. What's 4 times 3? 12. Here's where sometimes you have to add the plus. It's not 4x 12, it's 4x plus 12. Let's do the next one. What gets circled? 8. And I'm going to draw an arrow to the 3x, correct? And I'm going to draw an arrow to the negative 2, because that minus sign belongs with the number. Plus and minus signs go with the numbers. I'm going to write down everything. 8 times 3x. That's what that first one means. And then I'm going to write down the second one. 8 times negative 2. What's 8 times 3x? What's 8 times 3? 24. And then an x travels along. 24x. Perfect. And what's 8 times negative 2? Negative 16. There's my answer. How come I can't put those together? Why, Christian?
Because 24 has a variable.
24 has a variable and 16 doesn't. They are not like terms. All right, what about this guy? What gets circled on this one? Negative 3. And I'm going to draw my arrows inside. Whoop. To 4y. And then I'm going to draw my arrow to and negative 2. Then I multiply negative 3 times 4y and negative 3 times negative 2, correct? Brennan, what did you say? Good, because negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, and the y just comes along because it belongs with it. And then what's negative 3 times negative 2? 6. Ooh, Antoine says positive. Why do I have to say positive this time? Because 2 negatives change it to a positive. And I have to have the plus sign because sometimes you have to add a plus, right? I have to put that plus. It's beautiful. Let's do the next one. Do you like that voice? Did it make it sound more exciting? Thank you. Negative 4 gets distributed to negative 5x. And negative 4 gets distributed to negative 3y. I'm going to write it down. Negative 4 times negative 5x. And negative 4 times negative 3y. Remember, you cannot multiply in a calculator when you type a variable. But you can multiply the coefficients, just the numbers. What's negative 4 times negative 5? Positive 20, so 20x. And what's negative 4 times negative 3? 12y. What should I put in between them? A plus. They are not like terms, do you agree? Okay. We're rocking and rolling. The number outside is a variable this time. That's okay though. I'm still going to distribute it. I'm going to take y times 8 and y times negative. Ooh, could I put a 1 there? I could put a 1 in front of y also. Beautiful. So 1y times 8 and 1y times negative 1x. I can only multiply coefficients. I can't multiply variables. So my coefficients here are 1 times 8, which is 8y. And my coefficients back here are 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1. And then I just add on my variables. Should I put yx or should I put xy? What do you think? Does it matter? Doesn't technically matter because x times y is the same thing as y times x. But alphabetical order is always more pleasing to the eye. Last but not least, circle the 5, draw an arrow to the 10. And the 5 goes to the negative 1x. 5 times 10 and 5 times negative 1x. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times negative 1x, negative 5x, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that eventually we're going to get to the point that you will not write this answer down. You will say, excuse me, Mrs. Long, your variable should go first. You should rewrite that as negative 5x. And what kind of 50? Positive 50. Are they the same answer though? They both work.